My ex-best friend of 10 years wants me to forgive her for sleeping with my exes. So my ex-BSF, let's call her Andrea, was my best friend for 10 years. We're at a party, I brought my fiancé of a year with us. We're about 5 to 8 drinks in and everyone's feeling it. I went off to go talk to another friend while Andrea and my fiancé sit at a table on the outside deck. I go back about 15 minutes later and my fiancé tells me he needs to talk to me discreetly after she gets up and walks away. He tells me she asked him why her? Why does everyone always go for her? Why does no one go for me? And then proceeds to say, would you ever date me? Now, in the moment I don't know if I fully believed him. About a year later, I have been broken up with my fiancé for about 3 months. I started hooking up with another guy I had known. We will call him Colby. One night I threw a party and it got kind of crazy. I was not feeling well and was in the bathroom. While I was in the bathroom, Andrea was all over Colby. Someone had told me later that night, and as I was on Snapchat posting stuff, she takes a pic with Colby and is basically on top of him and sticking her tongue out. She sends it to me while I am on my phone. I didn't really think much of it. 2 weeks later, a mutual friend says Andrea is sleeping with Colby and that she slept with another ex of mine after we had broken up. I message her and asked her, are you sleeping with Colby? And did you sleep with other ex? She plays it off like she has no idea what they're talking about and says she would never do that to me. I asked, are you sure? If you like him, just be honest so I can stop wasting my time on Colby, and then starts gaslighting me and asking why would I believe mutual friend. I didn't push it after that BC. I didn't want to start a fight with her. One night I looked at Snap Map and it showed Colby and Andrea in the same location and I knew it in my gut. I expected it from a guy but not from my BSF. I asked again, she blew up and finally admitted it after gaslighting me for 3 weeks. Then tried to make me out to be the bad guy and saying you always make everything about you and you guys weren't even in a real relationship and a bunch of other crappy things. I get into a relationship with Tyler. A few weeks later I stupidly forgive her. 7 months later me and Tyler take a break. We all attended a party together and I see her flirting with him and flashbacks of Colby came back, and long story short, we fought again and didn't talk for a very long time. A year later I have moved out of state, and she's in a relationship with Tyler and is pregnant with his child. I now know all of my feelings were right. I mean, her last 3 relationships were all of my exes. Another year later she says she misses me and is sad I moved out of state and doesn't apologize for anything. I told her I don't hold grudges, but I don't think I can fully ever be friends with her again. Comment. Man, she's tired of Tyler and wondering if you found something new for her. You're smart to walk away, man. I totally get it, but the sad fact of life is that people like this wake us up to the dangers of being too nice. You're not a bad person. Go find friends who deserve you and your attention. That oblivious part is obvious. Your damned fiancé told you what she was doing and you ignored him. She showed you what she was doing and you ignored her too. How many friends told you what she was doing, ignored them too, but now you're mad? I guess if you'd walked in on them, she'd have said he slipped. There's trusting and then there's willfully blind. You still act like you could trust her again at some point after she stabbed you in the gooch at least 3 times. Why are you talking to her at all? She has shown you over and over who she is. Believe people when they do this. She is not your friend. Friends don't do things like this. Does she have to take another boyfriend from you to finally realize what a horrible person she is? Or will it take 10 more times of her doing it before you realize? If you like being walked all over, then proceed with your friendship, but what misery comes from it, is on you at this point. Do you have any hopes of ever having a husband, some children, and settling down? You do? Then you need to treat Andrea like the plague. Other people may see Andrea approaching, but you see the coming of the Spanish flu. Anything less than this and you can kiss your hopes of a lasting relationship goodbye. Next story 2. My husband's sister hates me and I feel like I'm failing my marriage. I have been with my husband for 8 years, he's 32 and I'm 30. When I first met him he was close with his sister, but she disliked me immediately. She wanted him to get back with her ex. She refused to speak to me, would turn her back on me when I arrived, and got away from me as quick as possible. Anything I did say was met with immediate judgment and gossiping about me to everyone else in the family. I'm a little awkward and an introvert, but I can definitely hold a conversation, so this was rough. Unfortunately, this hasn't really changed. She does greet me now and act technically polite but still gets away from me as quickly as she can. We're invited to big family events but often left out of smaller ones and told about them later. He used to see his sister weekly, now we maybe see them once every 3 months. I've tried reaching out and had times when I thought we were connecting only for her to go back to avoiding me. My husband always sides with me, but I know he misses his sister and I feel like a terrible wife, as well as extremely unlikable. She is definitely the golden child in his family, so everyone follows her lead. I honestly don't know why she doesn't like me except for the fact that maybe I'm just not likable. I don't really have this problem with anyone else, but I can't help feeling horrible about myself being around his family. It's like an uphill battle. I've spent years trying to figure out why she doesn't like me. Did I say the wrong thing? Is she still wanting his ex back after all these years? Am I just an uncool loser? Haha, I'm like reverting back to my high school self sometimes, and I just can't quite figure it out. I feel like anything I've ever done that was wrong, maybe being too quiet one time, undersharing, oversharing, literally anything, is branded on me forever, even though I can't think of one time that anything big happened. My husband has asked her about it in the past and she basically brushed it off and said she's shy, but she's not shy with other people and manages to plan plenty of events. In the past few years, she has gotten a babysitter for her kids weekend after weekend and gone away or gone to dinners with his other siblings / their spouses, cousins, etc., but never us. We find out about her kids' birthday parties after the fact, or are invited by his parents. I will say that my husband has stopped taking initiative to plan things with them, and I feel badly, but I just don't have it in me to try and plan things and be rejected. I feel so horrible when we do hang out with them, but also feel awful when we don't because I know it hurts my husband, despite how much he tries to support me and says he's okay with it. Am I a bad wife for not trying harder? Should I work to get over my feelings and hang out with them more, me always doing the inviting anyways, or just try to let this go? Comment. It's not you. You are not the problem. Because you are not the problem, you can't fix it. Your sil made up her mind to hate you and treat you like dirt, and your only option is to stop subjecting yourself to her. You will never sway her or change her mind. It's not your fault if your husband misses hanging out with her. It's 100% on her, because he has your back. Let him. Don't twist yourself into knots over someone you cannot impress. Do know the old joke about the couple at the restaurant complaining that the food is awful and the portions are too small? You are very lucky, woman. Your husband's crass, unmannerly sister avoids you. You need to recognize that this is a huge stroke of good fortune. Your husband doesn't mind and neither should you. Now you have more time to spend with people that you actually like. You are doing nothing wrong, and you are not the reason your husband feels hurt. His sister is a bad person, and she is the problem. You are not failing your husband. He loves you, he supports you, and he stands by you. His sister is the entire problem, and you just need to accept that there's nothing you can do to make her like you. She has decided to be a miserable person, for whatever reason, and that's all there is. Let her live in her little hateful world, and you two move on with your lives. Stop trying so hard. The sister sounds pretty awful. Her brother's relationship is not her choice or her business. She is being very rude, and the family should be pretty embarrassed about her behavior. You didn't do anything wrong and can't change someone else's behavior towards you. I can totally see why you feel bad since it hurts your husband. But it sounds like he can see you trying and supports you. Tough situation, but I would suggest taking a step back from trying for a while.